この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Fire Force and a No Shobutai episode 10. Last time on Fire Force, we had what I would call a bit of a hit or miss episode, which has been pretty much par for the course for the last few. There were definitely a few cool ideas / elements that I find really intriguing and would like to know more about, and am hoping will come to fruition in some sort of an interesting way. Most notably, these Crusader or Knights Templar. That's really what they read as to me, is like Knights Templar or Paladins of some order. Certainly seem to be religiously affiliated, which makes sense given Rekka and all of that stuff. Cool outfits, cool designs, seem brutal, willing to take out one of their own, no problem, no worries, no sweat. To cover their tracks, make sure that nobody gets interrogated and no information about this organization or their leadership is revealed. I like that. That seems cool to me. We'll have to see if it keeps it up and if they're the real antagonists that we're going for. We really don't know that much about our antags at this point, so maybe we'll find out something. I don't know. There was also some more missy stuff, some less cool stuff, like there's been a lot of talk about it all over the internet. I've seen a lot of Twitter posts and comments and things arguing both sides of it. Some people standing up for it, saying that like it's just fun shonen stupid stuff, be okay with it, and some people saying like, I don't really like how Tamaki was 1, damselized, 2, objectified, and 3, that the fan service for her was like felt completely out of place and broke up the flow of the action sequence. I'm mostly on the last one. I'm not a big fan of the damselization either, but it was just, I felt like that fan service sequence really broke up the pace of the battle. Didn't feel like it was part of what should have been there, but okay, whatever. We can sort of overlook some of this stuff as long as there are still interesting things to look at, which I think there were in the last episode. And I'm not going to get too deep. I have talked with some people on the Discord, and some people recommended that I maybe talk more in depth about what it is about like certain brands or certain types of fan service that either are fine by me or like irk me in some way. I want to be clear that if you like something, like it, and ignore my opinion if it differs from yours, you can do that. Like my thinking something should not affect the way that you think about something unless you listen to it and are like, yeah, I agree with that. Like whatever. I'm just a person with a microphone. That's it, as always. But so if you dig the fan servicey stuff, cool. I don't super dig it. I don't super love it. I would very much love. I actually had a thought while I was thinking about how I was gonna talk about this for this episode. I had a thought, which was like, man, if this author is good enough, they can take Tamaki from this place where she is just continuously beaten down by the world, kinda. Have the loss of have like a loss of innocence go on here, where she realizes that she like is not living in a nice universe right now, and have her actually like grow and develop as a character into something more than a walking fan service bomb that just explodes in every scene that she's in. That would be really cool. I don't know if the author has the chops or wants to do that with this story, but whatever. I literally just said I wasn't going to get in depth on the fan service thing. Okay, so I was talking to some people in the Discord, said that I should maybe go more in depth on it. I might, maybe, but I don't really want to waste time on it right now. Because it's a weird and complex topic, and like there isn't a hard line between what works and what doesn't. It's super subjective and super fluid. Like sometimes goofy dumb shit like what we see here really lands for me and works on various levels, and sometimes it's just groan worthy. And mostly in Fire Force it has been pretty groan worthy. I haven't ever been like turned on by one of the scenes, and I haven't ever found one of the scenes really genuinely funny. So it hasn't worked on either of those levels, and so I kind of just wonder what the point is. Anyway, other things, Flam has actually been growing on me. I do kind of hope that we see more of this character. I didn't love him at first. He seemed like he was a bit of an empty shell with a quirk of saying the same word repeatedly in a sentence, but he's demonstrated some character, and like he seems like a cool dude. All right, cool. So that's growing on me. And then story-wise, Tamaki has now joined. I'm not sure on the details here, but has at least temporarily joined the 8th for the time being. So there will be more of her. We'll see how that goes. And I had written down that I thought Jagannatho had also joined them, but after skimming through the previous episode, I don't think he did. So just Tamaki then. And this episode that we're going into is titled The Promise. I have no idea what that refers to. Zero clue. No reason to conjecture on it, I don't think. I can't remember any specific promise that we've heard about before, so I'm going to assume this is an element being introduced now. Again, I think for this show, most interested in production decisions, and then for the story-wise, I'm interested in the world building and like the big picture. I doubt we'll move to like big strides toward that, but if we can take and continue taking little steps toward an understanding of what the hell is actually going on, I would appreciate that. That's the part that I'm most interested in. I think the part that I am least interested in is currently the characters, which is not a good place for a show to be, but it is a place that can experience some growth. Like, yeah. There's still time. This is shonen. It moves at a very different pace from other kinds of shows. Like, to give an example from the same day of watching, Araburu is the same number of episodes in and has like 30 million times the amount of characterization and character depth in every single one of its characters. Hell, in half of its characters left pinky toes than Fire Force does in its entire cast. It's just a matter of how you write the characters and what kinds of interactions they have, but also what kind of story you're trying to tell. So I'm going to continue to sort of look past the flaws that I find in Fire Force and hopefully find some things to love in this show. I haven't been doing that recently, and it actually kind of bugs me. I've been like, I never really wanted to be a critic. I like finding things that I like in shows, and I think I've lost a little smidge of that as just reacting to things has become more normal to me. And I want to be a little bit more conscious of what I'm talking about and why I'm talking about it. Because the reason that this channel exists is because I fucking love anime and I fucking love stories and storytelling, and I want to talk about them, and I want it to be my life and my job and my profession. It's not because I want to shit on stuff. That said, if there is stuff that deserves to be shit on, I also want to shit on it because, I don't know, I feel like more voices saying that something is really stupid helps prevent that thing from being made a lot more. In the same way that talking about things that I find cool maybe helps cause more of those things to exist in the world. Not to pretend that I have any kind of impact. This is a tiny channel and I am just a tiny person with a microphone. But that's still what I want to do, and that's still the goal that I'm going for. So we're getting way off track here, but I want to try to focus more on the good in the shows that I watch, even if it's only a sliver. But not to do that at the expense of maybe shitting on things that deserve it. Anyway, way off track. Let's go ahead and get back on track, get on the railroad, and go ahead and watch Fire Force episode 10. I have the episode up. It is titled The Promise. It's up and ready to go. There will be 2 versions of this reaction video. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, which will be in the description, and a timer-based version up on YouTube. The picture-in-picture version will have the video in it up in the top right corner, but it won't have discussion at the end. And the timer-based version on YouTube won't have the video in it because copyright, and will have discussion at the end. So mix and match those to get whatever content you want. And if you're intending to use the timer-based version to sync up with your own copy of Fire Force and watch the episode through with me, then get it ready because there will be a beep beep timer at the beginning to count you down, and that is now. This is different. We're not getting a boom. Most fears of a emperor? Are those priests? Okay. What? Why are they hanging there? What? What? God, that's loud. I'm just gonna turn down my volume. That way I can deal with it in post. Uh-huh. Baka. The hearts in the background say otherwise. Also, women in suits. I like that. Wait, where wasn't Arthur like? What were you doing away? Oh, oh, nice. Neat to the face. Okay, Arthur joining in is nice. What does your stupid hat say this time? So this is the Imperial somewhere. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Boom bugs. And the insane cult. Yeah. Mm. 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 It's a weird building. Does it contain Amaterasu? Yes, it does. So Amaterasu is the seat of power. And is totally not evil. I like that cut. Not the animation or anything, just like the hard cut to sound, like wind noise, and then cut out. Atmosphere. Hmm. Thanks, bud. Witch Doctor's mask? Or Plague Doctor. And that was a cool wipe. That wouldn't be Joker, would it? Ooh. Hello. Gary Honda? Okay. Special Fire Force Company 3, Dr. Giovanni. That was weird. I didn't catch that guy's name, though. The way he slumped over, though. Circle X, tic-tac-toe. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, this priesthood seems totally trustworthy. Nothing weird there. Do a latum thing. Hmm. Raff. Is it Raffles or Raffles? Maybe we'll see. For sure. All right, not Armstrong. Hi, Joker. Nice AirPods. Oh, they fucking didn't. Oh, tell me that's in the manga. Is he talking about Shinra? I assume so. Yeah, you want to talk about that more? They all look knowingly. Thank you. No, thank you. What it do? So there's a person in there? That was a cool sequence. Of reused footage, but still. Okay. I like this guy's voice. And, they're muffling it. There's a close echo on it, like he's talking through a Pringles can. He might actually be talking through a Pringles can. And he's affiliated with Hijima. I don't trust the leadership at all. Where'd the other two go? I'm more worried about the fact that you left Shinra in with a bunch of people who maybe want to use him as a science experiment. All right, let's take ourselves a look. Hi, Joker. Wait, nice shirt, dude. Couple of little hearts on there. It's a very different getup than he was wearing before. That's that black powder, I think. So Joker's obviously not aligned with the evangelist. Ooh, I like that. Please exposit. Hmm. Knights Ashen Flame. All right. Poof. Bye. There's the promise. Yup. Okay. As we began. Hmm. Oh my god, we're actually doing investigation and research. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go get that ramen. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's actually so stupid I enjoyed it. Okay. I like this. Looking out for his subordinates. I can dig it. That was a cool cut of hand washing. Bye-bye. Hajima beer. They won't be for very long. This feels like a calm before the disaster episode. What? Hit us with it, Shinra. You gonna fight my brother? Okay. Okay. Yeah, all useful information that they should have. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh. Hmm. That's the Emperor, right? Nope. Well, hi. Hi, bro. Okay. Literal mirror of Shinra. Okay. Is there an ending scene again? Doesn't look like it. 7 seconds, so just next time. And formation of fire. Blah 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 blah. What is that? That's not a recap episode, right? I hope not. Formation of Special Fire Force Company, the 8th. Does that mean history lesson? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so overall initial thoughts before we even start like going back through this. I think this was my favorite episode of Fire Force in a while. Like in a good while. It feels like we are making some progress. Now, there were some things in this episode that I didn't super love. There was an abundance of reused footage from previous episodes, mostly I think used to just like remind you of specific elements that are going on, and I assume probably not things that were there as like redrawn panels or anything in the manga. Just things from previous episodes to remind you. For instance, we see the scene of Rekka getting frozen again when we meet Flom again. We see the scene of Rekka getting shot again, and some of the scenes of him talking again when we're talking about the evangelist and all that stuff. Um, it's not clear whether this was just to build like to fluff out the episode and fill up time, or just that they thought that was the best way of getting that information across and making sure it's drilled into your skull. Either way, it's there. It's yeah, all right, fine. Um, a lot of new information in this episode. Not a lot of it that like leads to any conclusions that I can personally draw, but that could just be because I'm not that smart. We've got some other interesting stuff about the Adola Basto, uh, which, like, and then the fact that the power plant runs off of an Adola burst. Given that we have only seen Adola bursts talked about in the context of like a pyrokinetic creates that, that makes me immediately think that there is a person enslaved inside the power plant powering the entire city, and that maybe that's an element of the conspiracy. All right. I also super do not trust the Emperor and his peeps. I don't know. Just super do not trust them right now. We'll see if that changes, but not sure. Uh, Interesting elements brought up about societal and potentially political stuff. There's this proto-nationalist term that gets thrown around. I don't know exactly the word that was translated to proto-nationalist, but when he specifies his name, then he is called a proto-nationalist by somebody who was in like military uniform and acting very proper. So seems almost like a rebellious faction, or like I would read this is a Republican Democrat likely who is against the empire. Also seems somewhat anarchist in the way that he's like, yeah, fuck your orders. The Seventh is going to do whatever the hell it wants. Okay. Well, all right. Um, Got the Emperor, the Priest, the Need of the Face. There were major instances of Tamaki fan service, one of which was kind of like, I don't know whether to call it a subversion. Instead of planting her crotch in Shinra's face, she actually ends up kneeing to him in the face, and then there's nothing else to it. And then yelling at him for something or other afterward in like an anime dust cloud, limbs flying around. I guess it didn't like work super well as either fan service or as subversion because. But hey, maybe it's a gesture at an interesting idea. Maybe that her Lucky Letcher thing will change over time. Although there is the second one where she just magically ends up in an apron naked with her cat ears, which is like dumb as fuck, and I actually found it quite funny because it's so stupid. I was okay with all of those elements in this episode. None of them really irked me. And then direction and pacing felt a little bit different in this episode. There were a lot of little scenes that either set the stage, set the like setting, or establishing shots. But there were also things in there that were just little stylistic touches, like little cuts to random things that last for a moment and then break up the flow of whatever's going on. They hit an awkward lull in the conversation, and then maybe we cut outside the vehicle for a second. And some interesting uses of sound design. I specifically pointed out the one early in the episode when we're driving toward the Imperial Palace place, whatever. When we cut to the outside of the vehicle and have wind noise just for the duration of that cut, and then we cut it out. I like those things. They serve to like sort of immerse you into the world and the things around you, into the environment. It's atmosphere building, and I think they worked in this episode. I don't know who to attribute that to, whether that's a direction thing. I would assume so. But it honestly, you could take that kind of stuff all the way back to storyboard if you wanted to. Unknown. Don't know who to attribute that to, but I think I appreciated it. I think it was pretty cool. There were some dumb and weird elements in this episode for sure. For example, the fact that that Joker is wearing AirPods is fucking amazing, and I can't wait for the memes because there are guaranteed to be some memes coming out of that one. Definitely intrigued. Also find it interesting that Amaterasu itself is the central seat of power, and I mean, from the beginning, once we talked about this perpetual power plant, that instantly sets off alarm bells in my head. When you're getting something from nothing, there's a deal with the devil going on, and I would say it seems likely to me that a lot of the large-scale issues with the world have to do with that power plant itself. Like, if you're trying to turn the world into another star, you need a lot of energy to do that, and perhaps there is some kind of devil's deal that you can make with the people of the world where they're like, yay, perpetual free energy, and you're like, yeah, but we're actually superheating the core of the planet, and lol. I don't know. I'm kind of making shit up on that front, but I feel like there is something conspiracy-ish about the whole Amaterasu power plant, seat of power thing, and I do not trust the Emperor right now, but all right, whatever. Uh, meet some interesting characters, which is one of the first things that I want to look at. The other captains of the other places. This is the first time that we've seen them gathered, and the captains so far have been existent. They've been around. Okay, so example of the weird things. We have this it's not really a story, but this like continuity of events with these mascot characters who are first strung up in the shape of crosses, as though crucified on a clothesline, but they're also wet and dripping as though they've literally been hung out to dry on a clothesline, as if they've been washed like laundry, which is really weird, and I don't understand what this is meant to mean or whatever, but okay. All right. I don't get it. Right. She's here. Looks good in a suit. Nice. The whole baka is fine with me. That's fine. And we get this, which is our Lucky Electro moment. And I was expecting crotch to face, but then it was a knee to face. Does that like? Well, it doesn't make it worse. Does it make it better? I don't know. It does make it clear that the author knows what they're doing at least. And all right, and I've seen people talk about this, that the whole idea with the fan service partly comes from talking with the fairy tale author, with whom the author of this is friends. Why you would ask the author of fairy tale for advice about your series, I don't know, but I guess he has his demographic and the people who like that kind of story, so whatever. I mean, fairy tale's relatively popular and it sells, so all right. I like I forget what she calls those, the puff things, being the apple on the thingamajiggy. Yeah, that's pretty great. I'm gonna talk about stuff. All right, skip. OP is cool. Okay, where's the scene? There's a scene. Yeah, so we use that for establishing Voom past and then Voom inside. All these cuts back to remind us of stuff. All that stuff. Lots of reused footage here, obviously. Feels like padding, but also that, like, this stuff is clearly important and they want to make sure that we're aware of it. I don't see the scene where we hear the wooshify. I believe we were on the side of the vehicle. Oh, was it here? No, it was a different one. Oh, it's here. And going up to it, there are actually a number before that. It's just this one, the audio cuts out a bit more dramatically when we go inside. Power station that was built at the beginning of the solar calendar. The perpetual thermal energy plant, Amaterasu. Which would mean that, well, it would mean the opposite of heating up the core. Like, if it is genuinely a thermal energy plant based on traditional technology, then it's pulling heat energy from the core of the Earth. Where we're going with that, I don't know. Seems bad. It seems like in this series that's a bad move. But we'll find out eventually, or not. I don't know. Produces all of the energy for Tokyo. Lots of focus on Amaterasu. And meet our guy, yeah. And then we meet this guy who says, I thought you were supposed to be with Hajime like me. So a little bit of an implication of betrayal here. Like, you may have betrayed your loyalties. Spending a lot of time with the 8th. She tries to brush it off. He definitely sees through that. All right, Leonard Burns, Gustav Honda. Yep. Dr. Giovanni is one that I am definitely interested in. Seems pretty creepy. Plague Doctor Mask would do that. Soichiro Hague. Hague? I mean, it would be and yeah. The way he sort of, like, falls forward, is he just asleep? I'm gonna guess he's just asleep. Unknown. Princess Hibana, and then Kayoko Huang. She has a different eye shape than all of the rest of the characters. I think she's just meant to be implied to be Chinese, but unknown. And this guy who has an X and a circle. Okay. And his name is Benimaru Shinmon. Benimaru. It's a classic name. All that I'm getting, though, are like Tensei, Shitara, Slime, dot blah 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 characters. Okay. I'm trying to figure out the meaning of this whole like, oh, so you have a proto-nationalist name. 7th is here. They don't show up to anything. Hold out. Yep. Waka. All right, we get our Latoms. Which company's captain? We got Captain Ruffles. He has ridges. Actually, plenty of ridges. I'm sorry. Okay, emergency conference. Looking at the symbol behind this cross and wondering if it was something weird or hidden and like, I don't know. But the thing is that the good guys worship the Great Soul and the bad guys worship the Great Soul just a lot more. So I don't think there's much to read into there. You're to bring down the blah as a traitor. Great Soul, my ass, what a load. So not interested in the religious stuff. Benimaru Shinmon, your disrespect is beyond the pale. That is his name, though, right? Or my name is Shinmon Benimaru. So he's just flipping the names. So it's not changing the name. It's flipping the two. A proto-national name. Does that have better context in Japan? Proto-nationalism, generally Googling it. Prep a society for future nationalism. Well, that would be the opposite. So he would be a nationalist as opposed to a religious individual, I guess. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah, so what I was talking about with like more democratic, more anarchical, completely wrong. Absolutely not. The kind of opposite of that. Proto-national, so against the religion. We in the founding, I don't know if this works, but okay. Swearing an oath of loyalty to the Empire or to Seoul. Okay. And ahem, you are supposed to do a thing. Wear those AirPods, buddy. Wear them right. Getting closer, aren't you? This will indeed be the path, though. Blah, blah, blah. Devil's footprints. The heart's on his... Maybe I'll go see him again, and he will. We find out some stuff about Amaterasu, but, like, not much. Evangelist is seeking to... Blah... She's good at that. Trying to protect him. He's still hung out to dry when the others are not, and then eventually we cut him down and they all have dinner together. So Shinra moves to see Amaterasu on his own, which is a perfect opportunity for a Joker guy to just show up, and say hello. Hi. And just checking, Joka has purple eyes with weird spirally rings in them. Okay, he is definitely not the leader of the people in the place of the 7th. I don't know, I just thought that for a second. I was like, they both have weird eyes? No, definitely not. And reveals to him that Chokusakabe is somewhere. I love the fact that he like uses a puff of smoke. Just be like, later. Later, bitch. Perfect. We find out what the promise is. We see a little bit more here. Just like a little bit. Yeah. And some resolve from Shinra, which I quite like. List of characters going after the evangelist. We actually do some freaking investigation. There are some moments here where the like blank cuts where there's no dialogue feel weird to the pacing. Most of them work in this episode. A couple of them don't. Like when we come in here and they're just all sitting around doing nothing for a while. And then it turns into a joke about Arthur sucking at this stuff. I don't know. I love how Shinra is just having fun watching Arthur slowly evaporate. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Maki-san's cooking. You're right. Conventional thinking doesn't apply to Tamaki. All right, we're just gonna hand wave it. I found it really funny. I don't know. It worked for me on one level. Chop some vegetables. I really like this scene. I like a lot about it. I like the wide. I like the fact that there is continuous like chopping of carrots and vegetables in the background, that they're both focused on their work. But I also like, as a character moment, the lieutenant being like, "Hey, we're alone here. If you need to talk, you can talk to me. I'm literally, whatever. I care." I quite like that. I quite like that. I was actually kind of thinking there might be a crying through onions moment, but there wasn't, which is probably a good thing. And then that all kind of comes to fruition when he's like, "Yeah, you know what? Shinra's got this. He's doing all right." Cool. Gorgeous anime feast. A very, very different anime feast. Hajime beer and some meat and some what looks like karaage and some what looks like quiche. Small, simple, bland. And all Hajime, all Hajime owned. There's also a lot of emphasis on when we see certain elements of the food. I don't know. I think it was when they were prepping it. There are like the symbol of the Fire Force Brigade things on all the food. I don't see it. Doesn't really matter. The fact that they are continuously consuming stuff that's coming from, I assume, Hajime, it's kind of weird to me. Makes me think there's something up. All right, then we get that. He tells them all of the information that he's learned, and they accept it and believe it with him, which is kind of a nice little moment. Kind of cool. And then, woo! Okay. A light to those who are lost, to burn the land, and turn this world into a flaming sun wherein God may be enshrined, as the evangelist directs Lathom. And then, there he be. He's got himself a cool sword, got himself some cool armor, got himself bright white hair, same eyes, same kind of smile. Well, there's Sho. Hi, buddy. He's also got some orbs of fire floating around him, so he is clearly a pyrokinetic, isn't he? Unless those are candles. They're not moving. Oh, they are in the background as well of this scene. So they may be candles or braziers or torches or something behind him, and he may not be a pyrokinetic. I'm going to assume he is. Otherwise, how the hell is he going to put up a fight? And, who says, as the evangelist directs, exactly? He doesn't speak, does he? Is he the evangelist himself? No, he is the commander of the Knights of the Ashen Flame. Right. Thank goodness I wrote that down. Otherwise I would have totally conjectured on that point. Okay, well, I think this is the longest discussion on a Fire Force episode that we've done in quite a while. There was actually stuff to talk about. I'm a little taken aback by that. That's kind of cool. Again, there were some misses, but far less than usual, and far more hits than usual, and far more little interesting additional things that get my brains a spinning. I liked this episode. I thought it was pretty solid. What did you think? I mean, I don't know, maybe this didn't land for you at all, and maybe I'm just in a good mood this morning or something. I don't know. Sometimes that happens. But I thought this was the strongest episode we've had in a number of weeks for Fire Force. Yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments. I would love to hear what you have to say. But I think I'm running out of things to say, so I'm not going to waste more time by talking too much more. So, let's wrap this up. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Fire Force Episode 10. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, or more, whatever. And I hope to catch you next week in the next one, which hopefully will be continuing this sort of upward curve. Fingers crossed. Hands clasped. Latom. God, that sounded stupid. All right. So yeah, me Teeaboo, this Fire Force. Hope you liked it. Hope to see you next week, and that'll be it. Peace.